He could go all the way. 95 yards, 38-7 Panthers.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Run, Pass, and Pint. I'm your host, Carmine Bianco of WagerTalk.com. We're going to recap last weekend. We're going to look ahead to this week and this weekend. Our Tweet of the Week feature this week will be replaced with news of another segment that I'm going to have. Also, I have some news on some upcoming projects as well. Let's look at this past weekend. Survivor pools survived. Denver. I'm pretty sure the totals didn't go down much in your survivor pools. Denver, New Orleans, both with fourth quarter comebacks to save a lot of people in those pools. So pretty much we move on to next week with a couple big favorites that people are going to key on. We had a pretty good weekend ourselves football wise. College football 2-0, NFL football 2-0 as well too. We're now 5-1 in NFL and 12-3 overall, including college football. I'll have news on some plays and a free pick as well towards the end of the video. Last week's NFL free pick was the Jaguars, and much like I expected them to win outright, they did, beating the New England Patriots, which is always great news when anytime New England loses. Anyways, our 5% play on Wednesday, if you're watching this, that was yesterday, with Champions League play with Juventus won 2-0. Seemed a little hairy at first with a 30th minute red card to Cristiano Ronaldo, but they were able to score a couple of goals on penalties and win that game for our clients, which is always great. And that's given us a 10-2 run our last 12 plays overall. All right, before we get into a different segment today, I'd like to announce what I think is some exciting news. In the upcoming week or two, I'll be hosting a podcast along with Sports Memos soccer expert Nick Borman. We're going to cover previous weekend in EPL and all the other big leagues. So we'll also discuss the upcoming weekend and some big games. And of course, we're going to have info on our cards and also give out free plays to the listeners. If you have anything you want covered or discussed from these in the soccer world, please tweet out to either me at Carmine Bianco WT, or you can tweet Nick at Borman 00, which is BORRMAN 00. Give him a follow on Twitter. He'll also have a lot of solid info on soccer as well, so it's always good to get as much info as you can. The show right now has no name to it, so what I'm going to do is either tweet me or Nick with an idea of a name for this podcast, and if I pick your name and we use it, I'll get you a 3-day soccer all access package, a weekend package. So a little bit of an incentive to either tweet myself or Nick. All right, guys. Usually at this point I have like a tweet of the week feature. That segment, we're going to skip that segment this week. I'm going to talk about a new segment called Carmine Bianco Hot Seat. I'll bring in a guest. We'll obviously do it live by Skype or what have you, and I'll literally put them on the hot seat, asking them a series of questions, some true or false questions, and what have you. I can't think of anyone better for the first Carmine Bianco Hot Seat than our very own Wager Talks, Kelly Stewart. She's our media relations person. You see her on all the videos. She's the face of Wager Talk, which is much better than some of the other faces at Wager Talk. I couldn't think of anyone better to be on our video than Kelly. Kelly, here's 5 points that will make you want to come on this show. First of all, you'll have the distinction of being the very first ever guest, obviously. Probably the last if it goes horribly wrong. I'll test your football knowledge with like 5 rapid fire sports questions. We'll see how you do on those, and I think the viewers will want to see that as well. We'll put you on the hot seat with 5 true or false questions. Yeah, it's me, so you met me in Vegas, so you know I can fire those questions off. Listen, the second last point is on this video, unlike the ones with the Prez, I'm not going to say the word dude about 50 to 100 times, so you don't have to worry about me saying to you, dude, this or dude that. So unlike our fearless leader at Wager Talk, I'm not going to use the word dude. And then number one, obviously, and you'll know this from my last visit to Vegas is I pay my guests in wine. So you'll get this beautiful bottle of red wine or a couple bottles. I'm there. I'll be in Vegas on New Year's Eve for 3, 4 days with the wife. So if you appear on the first show, I'll bring some wine for you, some nice Italian wine, of course. So Kelly, what do you say? Listen, there's no one who's a bigger fan than I, Kelly. Come on the show. Be on the hot seat. You can do it. All right, guys, we're going to look at 3 NFL games, sort of a quick synopsis of the 3 games, and then free play on each at the end. First game, Kansas City laying 6.5 at home against San Fran. They come home 2-0. Mahomes had a monster game. He's actually had 2 huge games for the Chiefs. He's the real deal. Last week against the Steelers, they just couldn't contain him. I really don't see what San Fran can do on the road to stop Mahomes. They're laying, like I said, they're laying 6.5 here, 10 to 14 points here by KC at home. That's your free play number 1. Free play number 2, you got the Pats. Pats are coming off a loss on the road last week against the Jags. We gave you the Jags last week as an underdog over the Pats, and now we'll sort of reverse it here. We're going to take the Patriots to do the job to the Lions. Lions are 2-0, about to become 3-0. They just haven't looked good offensively or defensively. The Pats pick up a wide receiver earlier in the week in Josh Gordon from the Cleveland Browns. I think he is healthy. Belichick will find a way to get him into the lineup. I think whether it's for a few snaps or for the full game, but I think we'll see him in there. Just another threat for Brady here. The final one is a total. We're going to look at the Arizona-Chicago game. The current total in that is 38. An interesting stat that was sent to me by one of Wager Talk's best stat guys was the fact that teams in week 1 and week 2 of the NFL season that have scored 14 points or less, and that applies to Arizona here, in week 3 since 2010, they have gone over the total 26 of 30 games. 26 of 30, that's pretty impressive for a team that doesn't score 14 points in both of its first 2 years. So over 38, Bears, Arizona here as your third free pick. All right, guys, now on to the weekend. We're going to look to continue a very good all sports run at Wager Talk with our selections where we've won 10 of the last 12. Loaded up for Saturday is a college football 5% top play. You can find that if you head over to wagertalk.com and go to my Carmine Bianco page. There's also an NFL side and total 2-pack. We'll look for the 3rd consecutive sweep of the NFL 2-pack card that we put up. I'll have an EPL 2 or 3-pack card up. I'm still waiting on some info on one of my EPL games, so it'll be 2 games minimum, possibly 3. If there's anything I missed on this video, please leave me a comment in the comment section below, and I'll try and address it in the upcoming videos. We'll just wait for a reply from Kelly Stewart on whether she wants to be a guest in the hot seat, the Carmine Bianco hot seat. But until next week, guys, thanks for viewing.
Thiago. Messi. Oh.